What up, everybody? We are back. It is Monday night. Ready to hang out with you guys, ready to hear what's going on in the world, waiting for the huge blast of people that always randomly show up and then disappear. We love you guys. Come on in. We want to hear all about your day. What did you do today? What did you accomplish today? Was it a good Monday? Was it a bad Monday? Was it a stay at home Monday? So we are rocking and rolling. We are excited. We've got another new topic to bring to you tonight. And so I'm just waiting for the burst. So who's going to be it? Who's going to be the first one in? We're waiting. We're watching. We're seeing. I don't know if there's delay. I want to see who gets the first comment tonight. I will even mention the first commenter tonight. I don't always do this, but before we get rolling, let's see. I'm just waiting for that. There's a little number right at the top of my screen that I know you guys probably can't see, but it tells me how many people are on. We're still at 0, and then we usually get a big pop. So we're waiting to see. Usually right around the minute and a half, 2 minute mark. So I want to see who's first. Who's going to ask me to mention a car? Who's going to ask me to say their name for an edit? Right? All these things. I'm learning. I'm learning. Let's see. Waiting, seeing. Is there going to be a pop here soon before we get into it? If not, I'll just go into what I'm saying, and then I know a bunch of people will show up. So, all right, I'm going to get going, and then we'll just go to the first commenter whenever people come in. But we're going to talk tonight about the things that I actually enjoy about doing gig delivery work. So, I know that there's lots of negativity and everything in this gig delivery world, and there are certainly things that I think are needing improvement or change, but I want to focus on some of the actual parts of the gig delivery work that I really, really do enjoy or have come to learn to enjoy as I do it. So, before we get into that, let me just go over my day today. I did a breakfast, lunch, early afternoon delivery shift today. Okay, so breakfast, not like super early breakfast, like 8:30 or something like that, into lunch, into early afternoon. And so my breakfast, most of my early stuff actually was all DoorDash. I think I took like 6 or 7, so I'm just like starting in the beginning of the week. I'm just kind of running earn by time on DoorDash to get as many acceptance rating points up. I'm starting to toy with the strategy we've talked a little bit about, which is taking every order during the week so you can cherry pick a little bit harder on weekends. I'm still not doing extreme cherry picking, but that's what I did. But then my highlight of the day was actually right around 12:30, right around lunchtime. I got a huge, I think it showed up as an $82 Instacart order, which is by far one of the biggest Instacart orders I've had recently. It was shop for two. Swag, you are the first one on tonight. I already said earlier I was going to shout out the first person to comment. So welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and joining us tonight. As for everybody else who's coming on in, we're going to be talking tonight about what we enjoy about gig delivery work. So we're going to try to stay away from the negatives today because I know there's all sorts of negatives in the gig delivery world, and there's plenty of YouTube channels out there covering that. So I'm going to share some of my favorite things, and so definitely would love to hear down in the bottom, in the chat, what are some things that you enjoy about it? Or if you don't deliver anymore, but you used to, what are some things that you did enjoy about it? So anyway, going back to my day today before I hop into that, yeah, I had this, I think it popped up, I think it was about $82 Instacart. And the thing was, I wasn't even on Instacart when it popped up. It just came as a little banner at the top of my screen. And I clicked over thinking there is no way in the world I'm going to get this. But sure enough, when I clicked on it, it brought it up on Instacart, and I hit the accept button as fast as I possibly could, and I actually got it. It blew my mind. And this actually, there's a little side note here that I'll get to in a second. But anyway, um, it was only about 60 items, but it was like 150 units. It was like from Publix, and so Publix had a lot of buy one get one free and multiples, and different things. Hey, Aaron from Cape Coral. Awesome. Do you deliver down here? I've never delivered as far north as Cape Coral. I've started messing around in Fort Myers a little bit, but if you do delivery work in Cape Coral, let me know. Is there anything? Should I come for a visit? Is it worthwhile? So yeah, we're Naples down here, but awesome. Thanks. Representing Southwest Florida tonight. So anyway, I shopped this order and got everything done. SSJ, hey, thanks for the sub. I'm going to get into what I'm going to share about in a second, but I'm just finishing my day here. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Um, got everything done. It was a ton of cat food. I think it was something like, I did the calculation. It was roughly 60 jars of cat food that I bought on this order, and a bunch of other things. Lots of buy one, get one frees and multiples and everything like that. And got the deliver ordered. And not only that, both customers increased their tip at the end. So I think the final total, it ended up being like 89 or $90. Took 2 hours to get everything shopped and delivered. It was a great deal. So SSJ Skong, if I'm saying that right, welcome. We talk about all sorts of different ways to increase your income and optimize the ways that you are earning income. And so on this channel, we talk about just all sorts of different ways. This particular hangout, we tend to focus more on food and restaurant delivery apps like DoorDash, UberEats, Grubhub, and Instacart. That's what we're going to be focusing on tonight. But we also deal with things like getting out of debt, maximizing cash back, starting your own business, and we're starting to develop into other areas. Like we're just started exploring how to get started on YouTube. Like how do you start a YouTube channel, and not the specifics of like what topic, but and we're going to work towards learning how to monetize it. And I'm kind of taking that's one of the things in this journey that I'm doing and sharing. So that's what this channel is all about. We've got videos on the channel, long form videos of like ride alongs that I've done when I've done delivery work, and what that looks like. So if you're interested in learning how to do DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, I've got videos that kind of show that. But then there's also other life videos, and trying to really just, the goal of this channel is to move 10,000 people from stupid broke to self-defined millionaires. So wherever you are on that journey, if that's something, if you want to do that. So Kit Kat, hey, Jesus loves you too. So awesome. Appreciate you chiming in tonight. So one other thing before I hop into this, I guess there's some big scandal going on in YouTube world about Sin City deliveries, um, faking screenshots. I don't know much about it. It just keeps popping up on my feed. I haven't researched it. So anyway, we are 100% genuine, authentic screenshots here. Um, I, I, I am way too broke to have time to be faking screenshots. So uh, I say thumbnail my dad liked about Uber Eats, that there isn't like a boss, so you could work whenever. Yeah, so that's kind of a perfect transition, SSJ. So we're going to talk tonight about things that I enjoy about doing food delivery, like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, as well as shopping orders like Instacart and Shipt and other things like that. So yours is one of the most common reasons that people like, and so I don't actually have that on my list, but it is very true. The idea of being able to work whenever you want. Now, when you do this long enough, at a certain point, it does still kind of feel like these apps are kind of like a boss to you, uh, because there's so many hoops that you have to jump through and different things. But definitely the ability to schedule and be flexible with that. So, for example, this week I've got lots of busy evenings, and yet I was still able to go out from 8:30 till 2. So whatever that is, 10, 11, 12, 5 hours, 5.5 hours, and still make about $150 in 5 hours today. Now, that was a really good morning for me, and it was, again, a lot has to do with having one really good Instacart order. But the very fact that even that's a potential to be able to do that is a huge part of doing this, and why a lot of people like these apps. Of course, the frustrations come when it's hard to hit your financial goals, or when you feel like you have to jump through hoops, like with DoorDash rolling out the tiers level now, which I know isn't in all markets, but many markets. In order to be able to just deliver whenever you want, you have to jump through a bunch of hoops. So I know there's some frustrations with that, but Yes. So the ability to schedule anytime you want is a huge thing. So I wrote down on my list today, and I posted my list in front of me, so hopefully I don't have to keep turning away like I did with yesterday's list. I wrote down 6 things that came to mind for me that I really have either enjoyed or gotten to enjoy, learned to enjoy while doing food delivery. So, um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through my 6. You guys can contribute those, but for my brain to function at this time of night, it's just easier for me to run straight through my list, and then I will come back to any and every comment that is made. So start commenting if you agree, disagree, or if you have your own things, or if you have other questions. I will come back and I'm going to take on all these as I go. So, but I just want to run through this, especially for people who are watching this on replay, and then if they want to kind of tune off after that, while we do some chat stuff, we'll do that. Okay, so here are the 6 things that I wrote down specifically that I enjoy about this. Number one is meeting new people. I have never been the type of person who would go out and meet lots of new people. It just wasn't my skill set. It was something I always wanted to be good at, but I just didn't know how to do it. And by doing this gig delivery work for so long, um, I've learned and gotten much better at things like eye contact and small talk and doing things, that were previously uncomfortable for me to do. And I didn't know how to do it. So much so that, I've pushed myself. And even tonight, like I had an opportunity I was just picking up some of my family from church. And instead of just saying, hey, get in the car, we're going to go, I actually got out and went and had conversations with people. And so that's just part of that change that kind of has happened to me. So this idea of just meeting new people and getting out into the community and interacting. And I'm not just talking the people you deliver to, but also the places that you pick up from and learning of people that you might see in stores or restaurants every day, but then to actually have time to get to know them a little bit, reach out, hear their story and different things like that. So SSJ, hey, thanks for tuning in. I will address your question. So please make sure it'll repost later tonight or tomorrow morning. And we have lots of good videos on the channel too, just regarding how to get started on these apps too. So if it's something that your dad is interested, so um, anyway, so good. So that's the first thing is meeting new people. I really have, and the stretching of doing that. I'll get more to that a little bit. The second thing, and this especially applies to Instacart in my market, which is helping people in need. I know there's lots of debate on some of these apps, whether people who, don't have the money and can't afford it or whatever shouldn't be using them or whatever. I'm not too worried about that in this point. The point that I'm making is we have like lots of elderly people, shut-in people, people who don't have family members around, people who either don't feel safe or comfortable driving to the store. And time again, I get to just deliver to people who are in a situation where I get to help them out. Like, genuinely. Yes, I'm making money. Yes, they're helping me out. But I like that it just gets, and when everything gets slowed down, and it's like I can just go out and help someone and be a blessing to someone because there's lots of things that I want to do to be blessings to people, but they're just things that I don't have time to do and I can't afford to do at this point in time. And it's part of why we want to grow this channel. But um, when I get to do those things, so today, one of those 2 from my big order from Publix, they were just homesick. And so I was able to do the shopping for them, communicate with them, and it was like a meet the customer, but they met me from a really far distance, and they were super thankful. And to be able to be a blessing to them and say, hey, hope you're feeling better soon. Hope everybody in the household is feeling better soon. That's just like that's just a fun, enjoyable part to me. And I know, and I'm not telling you what you should do, but down here, I have lots of people who um, they'll ask me to bring their groceries in, and as long as I feel safe, which every time down here I have, because usually it's like a 80 to 90-year-old woman who's asking me to carry their stuff in for them. Like to me, there's something on the inside that's just like that feels so cool that I get to do that. It's like you feel like you're their grandkid, or their great grandkid or whatever. You just feel like you're just being such a help to them and a blessing to them, and you're bringing them the food that they really like, that they just don't feel comfortable going out. And this sometimes does happen with DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub, but so much of that is just kind of leave at the door type of stuff that I don't get as many of those interactions on those apps as I do with Instacart. So, but anytime I get to help people in need, it's a super fun, special thing. So the third thing, which I've kind of alluded to, is I like the testing and the stretching of myself that I've had to do by doing these apps. Like I said, I'm not naturally the type of person that just goes up and strikes up a conversation with a random stranger. And yet I've learned for both not looking strange, right? Like if you just like walk up to the counter and you just food, give me the food, right? Like that doesn't really go over well, or what a lot of people do down here. This is my charger, but I'm just using this for, they shove the phone in the face, right? They shove the phone in the face. Order is for mom, like I've learned like, okay, that's like sometimes that's what you need to do because it's so loud and they need to see who it's for. But the vast majority of the time I like going and say, hey, how's it going today? I'm just here. I'm doing a DoorDash pickup for Bob. Just let me know when it's ready to work. And just by doing those things, like that was something that I would have been uncomfortable to do. Like I remember the first few times doing delivery apps, walking into a restaurant and not knowing where to go or who to talk to, and I was just awkward. And I'm not saying that I'm not still awkward sometimes because that's just part of my life is being awkward, but I feel like in a lot of situations I can at least carry on a basic little conversation about things and have a great day and thank you so much and making eye contact. Little things that I probably should have learned when I was much younger, but I just never did. And so I've been able to just be tested and stretched in so many ways. And also my personal development. We've talked about this a lot in here, but I've by when you're out on the road for long periods of time, you have lots of time to have those tough conversations with yourself and to kind of face your inner demons and to really like hash it out and say like, look, no, this isn't true, or you know things that maybe, at least for me, I find, and I don't know, hopefully this isn't like scaring you guys off, but like I find like things that are inside of me that have been impacting me, I've had time to actually battle those things and work through those things, because I'll get frustrated over something. I'm like, I'm not even frustrated over that thing. What I'm really frustrated over is something else over here. And so it's like, oh, I see. This is something that I haven't worked through yet. So just this whole testing, stretching, personal development, personal growth, moving beyond things. And really, it's some of the same things that I'm experiencing in my YouTube journey too, right? It's like, so public speaking isn't something that I'm against. Like I've done lots of public speaking in my life, but learning the rhythm of how to run a live stream. I'm far from having it perfected, but trying to make sure it's fun and interactive, but at the same time that it stays on topic enough that it's a blessing to people who are going to watch it tomorrow, right? Like, how do you make a live stream that's good for the people today and good for the people who don't watch it live? And trying to learn what that looks like and getting those results and hearing and learning how to kind of think on the fly when people make weird, silly comments and different things like that. It's kind of that same concept for me because it's building a new set of skills or expanding my current set of skills to things that are a little bit more. So thanks for chiming in. It's the same for you. Like, yeah, like there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I like, so anyway, three things so far of the six: meeting new people, helping people in need, and then testing, stretching, personal growth and development. The fourth thing, and this is kind of maybe something that's just more me because I don't hear a lot of people talk about this. I love discovering new restaurants in my town. I I know that sounds kind of silly. Yeah, I'm not talking about like, oh, there's a Taco Bell over here that I didn't know about, but I'm talking about all these like local places. We have so many local places, and they're constantly new restaurants going up and old restaurants going out of business. But well, we're actually losing more of our chain restaurants down here, and other newer local restaurants are coming in. Like our CC's Pizza is closing. We used to have a Red Robin in town, and that closed. But like we have a constant inflow of new restaurants, and I love it. Now I'm not to the point where I can go and eat at those restaurants and enjoy them. Hopefully someday I will be there, but it's just really fun. Or seeing a restaurant that I've driven by 100 times or 1,000 times, and then getting the first time to go in there and just be like, hey, like this is cool. And I'll often tell them like, hey, it's my first time in here, and they'll often invite me back. And I don't say it, but I just think, hey, well, if you give me a free meal, then maybe I'll actually come back. Because free is what I can afford for eating out right now. But I do enjoy discovering new restaurants and seeing what's in the town. And we've even had a few restaurants. A few restaurants have given me free samples when I've gone into them or different things. And there's one of our favorite new pizza places in town. Um, one of the times I was just waiting a really long time for an order and being played, and they just said, "Hey, you want a slice of pizza?" And they just literally threw a slice of pizza in the oven. I think they did it two different times. Two different times they just threw a, you know, like that's cool because it's like. And then when we had some company and some family come down, then we actually went there to get pizza for the group. And so it's like I always try to, shout out in my videos anytime like I'm dealing with just really fun, good restaurant workers. Like even if a particular delivery doesn't go well, that's not on the restaurant, that's just on the person or just the day or whatever. But like we've just got some really cool restaurants, really cool restaurant workers, different things. So meeting new people, helping people in need, testing, stretching myself, personal development, discovering new restaurants. And the fifth is kind of like the fourth, but on a different spin. I've really enjoyed exploring my town. I've enjoyed going into all these different gated communities that I would have never seen, never had access to for any other reason, right? Like I don't know any of the rich and famous people in these. And if you're not familiar with Naples, Florida, we have it's like it's probably not quite as crazy as like the Hollywood area because we don't have the movie star component, but we have the rich house component. There are an uncountable number of $1 million plus homes down here. And just I mean crazy. And when we're talking uncountable number, we're talking we have multiple $10 million plus homes. And some of which I've gotten to deliver to, and even in a few occasions, some of them I've gotten to walk inside, bring the delivery in or whatever. It's fun to me, and I love my town. If you don't love your town, then there's probably not. This probably isn't something that you get like super excited about. But for me, I love my town, and I love exploring my town. I love every once in a while I end up in a new community that I had never been in before, or end up there's just so many different side streets and different things, and or I'll have a house that I've looked at a bunch of times, and I finally get to deliver to a house that's like one of my favorite ones to look at. I just really enjoy that. Like it energizes me when I get to explore my town. Probably one of the things that one of the reasons why I've been hesitant to go explore other areas that maybe have better deliveries is just because I love my town so much, and I love delivering to people in my town, exploring my town, and it just like you know, I haven't lived here my whole life, but I was born here, and I'm enjoying every moment of living here now, and just all the just different places, different back roads, different houses. Just I love exploring my town. So that's the fifth thing. So the five things so far that I thoroughly enjoy about gig delivery work: meeting new people, helping people in need, testing and stretching myself, discovering new restaurants, exploring my town, and the last one, which is a bonus, and I did this as a survey a little while ago. Um, I feel like I probably get a disproportionate amount of free food, and I've just had from a variety of ways, right? So every once in a while, there's just like an order that gets canceled, right? So then you get the occasional free food from that. But like I mentioned, other restaurants have given free food. We've had a couple of like my Papa John's in town. They have just like an extra pizza that didn't get claimed or never got picked up or whatever. They've given me that. Even last year, I remember around Christmas time, I think this was for an Instacart. Someone had ordered like this. I forget what it was. It was some drinks and some candy, and it was just like like a Christmas care package, Christmas present thing or whatever. And I delivered it, and the person who ordered it ordered the gift for I think they ordered it for their dad. The person who ordered it put a tip on it, but the guy I delivered to, he got it and said, "Hey, you know, did you get a tip for this?" I said, "Well, yeah, there's a tip on that." And he said, "Come on back." And the entire package of chocolates that I just delivered him, among like 3 or 4 other things, he said, "Merry Christmas to you," and just gave me like the whole package of chocolates. And I've just had so many fun experiences like that. Whether it be anything and everything, just like a free sample that you get from restaurants, to the occasional canceled order, to it's just kind of been a fun little perk that I've gotten to enjoy, to eat and enjoy food from different places. And so we had one this weekend, and just ended up getting some pizza and pasta, and it turned out to just be like a fun family meal that we got to eat together as free food. So those are my 6 things, among others. It's not an exhaustive list, but 6 things that really came to my mind about the things that, like, on the days when I'm not personally excited about going out, like, these are some of my motivations. In addition to money, in addition to getting big orders like my big Instacart order today, in addition to being able to schedule, but like this is like the me. So these are just some things that I enjoy. So I would love to hear, what are some things that you enjoy about gig delivery work? And then I know I have at least one question to answer for SSJ. But if you have any other questions, you can let me know down in the chat. You get to the point of the night of, what are you drinking tonight? Tonight I am on water, but unfortunately I actually didn't refill it before I came. So it's actually just basically ice at this point. There's not much water left. But that's what I'm drinking tonight, just getting rehydrated. I haven't even had supper yet. So this week is probably the busiest week that we've had. And hopefully it will be the busiest week that we'll have for many months. So it's the busiest week that we've had in many months, and probably the busiest week we will have for many months. So it's just going to be kind of scraping everything together, get everything done. So lots of late night suppers and different things. But anyway, you can comment down below or in the comments in the replay, what are you drinking, and doing that. All right. So SSJ, I'm hoping I'm understanding your question correctly, of which calls should we take, and based on the context, I am assuming you're like, how do you know which orders to take? Okay. So that is a great question. I'm going to give not the short answer and not the super long answer. So I'm going to try to give you the medium answer. I know you say you'd be watching this tomorrow. So hopefully you will find this. How do you know which orders to take? Okay. So I'm going to give a couple warnings. One, every market is different. Okay. So that's one. Two, our recommended channel goal is $2 a mile and $25 an hour. Okay. Now that's a goal. Doesn't mean you're always going to hit it. You might have days like today where I did like 5 hours and did about, right around $30 an hour for 5 hours. You might have a really good day like that, but that's not always normal. Like, I made as much today in 5 hours as I did on Friday in like 12 hours, because Friday was a horrible day. You know, but you want to pick orders that are going to lead you in that general direction. And so I have kind of the bottom end standard for what do I take when it's not good. Okay, what's the lowest type of order that I would take? And I would put it in this category. The lowest order I would generally take is $5 or $6 for 1 mile. Okay, so that's like on for the lowest. I don't take, unless there's like a crazy reason. Like, occasionally they'll add on. It'll just be a second order going to the same person. I had this like a while back from a Chipotle. I got 2 order. There was like a $12 order, and then they added on like a $3 order, both from the same Chipotle, both going to the same address. So in that case, I picked it up, even though it's not $5, because literally it was no more work, no more wait. Even it wasn't a second drop off. It didn't have to drive to a second restaurant. Okay, so there's crazy circumstances like that. But if you were just like, if an app throws up an offer on my screen and it's for less than $5, or it's $5 or $6, but it's like 4 or 5 miles, I'm probably not taking that. And I think your low end that you should be aiming for somewhat consistently And again, your market may vary, but I would recommend at least trying to make sure you're hitting 18 an hour during the bad days and the bad hours. Um, and there may even be times that that doesn't work, but I find that sometimes I limit how much money I make because I'm passing on so many different other orders. Okay. And so you have to make sure that you're keeping busy and yet you're still getting decent orders. And I know sometimes it just seems impossible to do that. That's what my Friday was. Um, but I would, on the low end, you want to think of things. So you're either talking like two $9 orders an hour would be like super low end, or three $6 orders, right? So that's why I kind of I'll take the 5 for 1 on DoorDash because I'm watching my acceptance rate right now, though I would prefer not to. But low end on DoorDash, I would prefer to be like that $6 a month for 1 mile, because if I get three of those, I can complete three of those in an hour. Okay, so that's kind of the standard on the low end. On the high end, not necessarily high in terms of dollars per mile. Obviously, you take whatever you want, but you want it. So, like, if you take a $20 offer for 15 miles, the money sounds really good. It's good cash flow, but it's also a lot of miles, and I would say, well, that's kind of depending on a couple things. Like, is it all highway miles and you can get it done in 20 minutes or a half an hour? And then also, is the drop off close to a new restaurant? In other words, is it bringing you to a point where you're likely able to get another order very quickly, like in the next 3 to 5 minutes? Or are you going to have to drive those 15 miles back the other way? So, if you want a little bit more, we actually spent time talking about this in last night's live stream. So, I have my notes here. They're on the back side of my notes from tonight. But we talked about one of the things I wish I knew. I'm just going to read it from here. Is where you deliver is more important than you think. And I put where you deliver and how close you are in proximity to being able to be near stores or restaurants that will give you another order is really, really important. So if I'm going to take a $20 offer for 15 miles, I want to make sure that within a mile or two after that drop off, I'm right back to a delivery zone. The only way I'm taking something like that's not near a delivery zone is that I'm going to double the miles in my head. And then I'll say, like, okay, this would be like more of an Instacart example, but how far, let's say I got an $80 Instacart, how far would I be willing to travel for that? 20 miles, 25 maybe. And that's about the cap that I really would want to do. Probably, like, if it was a really slow time in the afternoon, I might do like up to 30 miles, but that 30 miles is 60 miles, and that $80 stays 80 whether you drive 30 or 60, right? Like, your dollars per hour don't go up just because you have to drive back to town. In fact, it goes down. So on the higher distance orders, it matters a lot more about where you end up than it does about how many miles you have to drive. Because, so anyway, if you're doing a pickup and a drop off and it's $20 for 15 miles, but your drop off is in your favorite zone, I'd probably do that all day. But if you're doing $20 for 15 miles and that drop off is in the middle of nowhere and you have to drive it all the way back, I wouldn't do that. So that's kind of the standard. Like, I'll do dollar per mile orders, especially, like 10 for 10 or 12 for 12, but only if the drop off is in a decent spot. Okay, that's what I'm looking for in those situations. So I hope that helps a little bit with that. Larva, English or Spanish? Well, I speak English, as you can probably tell by the stream, but I have been slowly working to learn bits and pieces of basic conversational Spanish. I did not learn Spanish in school growing up. I took German because I have German heritage, and so I kind of wanted to learn that. So I'm not, I'm starting from scratch with Spanish, but I found that it's been really good, and we recommend on here at least knowing a couple of basic phrases in, like, a common foreign language in your area, which around here is Spanish, would be the most common one. So, um, so I do, again, very basic conversational Spanish like hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. Y tú? That those sorts of things. Buenos noches, gracias, de nada. Again, I'm not an expert, but I've at least tried to make the effort to have a little bit, be able to do a little bit of basic conversational. And I know numbers. I don't know a lot of numbers, but I think I know up to 15 or so and count to about 15 in Spanish, which is helpful every once in a while. I need to get help. I need help finding an address. And so I can just be like, ocho, or ocho diez, uno seis, or something like that. Like if I'm looking for an address. And so that's, as you can tell, I'm not a great Spanish speaker, but I've at least learned a little bit. So I don't know if anybody else has any other questions, chime on in. Um, to the best of my ability, I am booking. I guess we'll move into a little channel update, and if there's any other questions after that, I'll handle that. Give just a little bit of a brief channel update. We are booking this 10 o'clock time slot, Sunday through Thursday night. Sunday through Thursday night, 10 p.m. I usually try to get the thumbnail up about a half an hour early. Obviously, if there's ever a conflict, I'll try to, I'll either post the time or whatever. But this is the time that we're aiming for being live. And we have some nights we'll do some topics, but then we'll also do some other just more hangout types of things. So let's see, on our pursuit of 500 subscribers going into the stream tonight, we were at 484. So we're 16 subscribers away. We are getting really, really close to part one of our two-part goal. Okay, so our two-part goal is 500 subscribers. Goal two is 3,000 watch hours. We just crossed over the 1,500 watch hours this weekend. So we're just asking you if you ever have the time or the opportunity, like while you're delivering or while you're sleeping at night, to just throw on a playlist of. I've got a few playlists on the channel, and we're building some more. Or go back and watch some of the older live streams if you enjoy this format. We have a lot that weren't viewed by many people at all. So we have that. Just asking, hey, if you have an opportunity, can you just listen through a video or two or watch a video or two, depending what you're doing while you're exercising? Imagine hearing me talk about gig delivery work. So do you ever wonder how different life would be if Lightning McQueen had joined Dynaco? It has been a long time since I've seen cars. It's been a long time. Thanks for chiming in. I know that my car would not be able to race with any of the cars from Cars. So, but yeah, so we're on our pursuit of 500 subscribers. We are on our pursuit of 3,000 watch hours. I will be making an updated video on Upside very soon. So maybe this week or early next week. So if you want to get into our next Upside video, you need to sign up for Upside through the affiliate link that's in the description below and fill up your gas at least once. I did a fill up tonight. I got 23 cents a gallon cash back for my fill up tonight. It was like 11 gallons. So whatever that works out to, like an extra $2.50. Personally, I'm not going to give all the details because you won't want to watch the video. But we are on a pursuit there. We're taking on a challenge as a channel to, I'm trying to build a team of referrals and who are using Upside with me. We're trying to pay off a credit card that has a $540 balance just by using cash back from Upside. And so, so if you want to join that challenge and help us out, there's a affiliate link in the description of this video. And we also have multiple Upside videos on the channel, so you can learn more about how it works and see if it's something you're comfortable with. We have a whole full preview as well as the updates. So we're going on that. I also have a goal to get the next rating climb video up here soon. And then we probably are going to be doing another Breville Barista Express video soon. And one last thing, we just got our most recent order from Plexus in. And if you look down in the description below, we have affiliate links for Plexus. Plexus is basically clean energy, clean healthcare. So not necessarily healthcare in the sense of like medicine, but just herbs, supplements that just really help me feel at my best. And so we've been using them as a family off and on for about 10 years. And there's definitely a noticeable difference when I drink clean energy that they have. You know, they have different drink mixes and stuff like that versus just like Red Bulls and Monsters and energy drinks and stuff like that. Those always just like leave me with a headache versus like the clean energy from Plexus. We do that. So if you're looking wanting to work on that, we have that, and we got some new videos because we have a new product that just came in. So we're going to give some reviews of that. So those are a whole bunch of things. We are trying to build up a nice, steady income stream as a channel. And we've been open and honest about this and appreciating all the help that you guys have done that. We also have our first paid Patreon. So a special thank you to Carrie for being our first Patreon subscriber who is on one of our paid membership tiers. He chose the Adopt a Coffee. He is buying a coffee for the channel once a month. So we have a whole bunch of different tiers, all the way from free up to higher levels of adopting tanks of gas or adopting this beard or different things. Kind of a lot of fun ways. So there's a link to the Patreon down below. So any way that you can support us is absolutely fine with us. We're trying to give you just lots of different options, highlighting them and building videos on them. So I appreciate your watching of this video, whether it was live or in replay. I know because not all of this time doesn't work for all of you, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the likes, the comments, the questions, the ideas, and please keep them coming. So even if you didn't see this live, you can still post questions. I try to read all of my comments. I'm still at the point. I'm a small enough channel I can read all my comments. So try to read all my comments, try to reply, and if you add questions, we'll try to address them in the next live stream, even if you don't catch this live. So, and I really mean it. Like I go through and I check multiple times every day when new comments are coming in because I want to hear all about where you're at and how we can help you with everything. So anyway, that was the 6 things that I enjoy most about doing gig delivery: meeting new people, helping people in need, testing and stretching myself, and personal development with that, discovering new restaurants, exploring my town, and the occasional free food that I get. So I would love to hear those down in the comments below. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Have a great night.